We have gone the distance in our first semi-finals. The Russians face the Danes, and it's all going to be decided on Nuke. And I, for one, Dust, I'm so happy we got a third map out this game.
Indeed, I agree, and I just think that it's awesome that the two maps we've seen so far have been really close contests. They've had a lot of brutal moments, a lot of back and forth, and so it's been an exciting time here in the playoffs in Rotterdam. And now we're going to go on to Nuke, and it's a map where I'm not really sure how good Heroic is. Sample size just seems like it's too small. When you look at ForZe, it's probably their best map outside of what we just saw in Inferno. Like, they have a really high win rate on land. They had some big victories over Na'Vi and Furia between the Major and Blast Moscow. It's probably one of their highest win rates online as well. So I feel like they're going to feel very much at home here on Nuke because of that, because of the results. It really is going to make them comfortable. And for Heroic, again, I think it's just too soon to call. I don't think they played it at all this tournament. Very limited games outside of Rotterdam, so I'm not sure what to expect from them, to be honest.
I suppose that may be a little bit of a concern then, wondering how much has Cadian had a chance to fit in on Nuke.
Yeah.
It's not really a map that you can pug very well.
Yeah, I mean, they did beat NIP on it in the EPL group stage, and they had a close loss to Vitality on Nuke. I think they lost at 13-16, if I'm not mistaken. So showed us a little bit of something there, and then outside of that, they won it a couple of times online to qualify for Star Ladder, but to be fair, those were against kind of weaker teams than what they're up against now. So it does make it a little bit harder to judge.
Danes typically have always excelled at Nuke.
That's
maybe in the DNA, Dust.
Yeah, I mean, Stallin's a part of that Fraxers team that was kind of innovative on Nuke last year. Kind of came up with some new different smoke setups on the outside. He might be able to bring that into this team. As, you know, yeah, I mean, Snappy obviously also a guy who liked a bit of Nuke on his time with Heroic in the past. So that is going to be in their DNA, you have to imagine.
Well, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Nuke is our final battleground, our final stop. There must be a winner, and we're going to find out which of these two teams will make it through to our grand finals. ForZe on the T side, Heroic occupying CTs, actually have no grenades or kits. They're going in for the straight up duels, and they could be called upon sooner rather than later. Squeaky door has already been opened. C-Power straight outside, though, wrapping round the back of the CTs. He's found himself stabbing, but be careful what you wish for, because the youngster is going to claim some frags. He's gone in for a second one. Could be looking for more as tagged down Almeza. Dangerously low to 48 health. He is the bomb carrier. Flick going to burst out of Hut, but it becomes their final resting place. And Almeza, who is nearly another victim of Stavin, he's just going to try and turn tail and run down ramp and see if he can maybe bait one of these CTs out into the open.
A little bit of Fakeruski. Oh, Stal.
Oh, it's what? So poorly. Stavin's like, how am I not dead?
I mean, yeah, I think he has the same reaction we've all had, which is, why am I still here? And again, that is kind of that shock and all playstyle of ForZe, though. Again, they move so fast. I mean, that guy's E-Power was so rapidly towards lockers, but kind of missed the opportunity, and Stalin comes with the hat trick. So brilliantly held out there by Heroic. That could have been very overwhelming how fast ForZe were moving, but they handled it.
Heroic off to a cracking start. Scout picked up on C-Power. Everybody else dipping into their pockets until there's nothing left. Flit, right idea, but it hasn't exactly worked out for him. 31 HP remains. Face crack goes in with the Mac 10. Cadian. And the bullets whizzing past his head, going to be able to smoke that off and back away, and that heaven is occupied by Stavin. So they have a decent grasp of outside. Barup is going to alleviate some of the pressure that was beginning to mount. Trying to stop this from getting into dangerous territory, but FaceCrack and Jerry going to take this back underway for the Russians. Here comes Snappy with his UMP. He's going to drop down the bomb. It gets countered instantly by Jerry. Bomb is going to get planted down, and Cadian with just a scout up close. It's going to be such a difficult task to pull this off. He's in some pretty damn good form lately. Not far off on the flick. He's not sure where the second player is. It's a flashbang. Doesn't detonate in his eyes. Cadian round the corner. Guessed incorrectly. And ForZe, hot off the back of their force spy, have made it work.
I think we're in for that scrappy beginning, Vince. The economic game of chicken is going to be in play. Who is going to fold first, or who's going to lose 2 rounds in a row? That's going to be the big question. Heroic, though, yeah, okay, never mind. They are going to go ahead and get those deagles and the scout, so do invest fully.
Yeah, the investment certainly to the brim, hoping to return the favor to ForZe. Split He's going to peek past red container, loses nearly 70% of his health in the process. Cadian may have more opportunity, not too far off. Long range SG one tap. Cadian will fall down. Tag looking for the peaks outside. Finds one to see power. And he may not be done just yet because 2 kills going to go his way. Looking for a third. Danes and Deagles. It's a dangerous, toxic combination for ForZe, and they do not have the remedy. Split the first player to see action. The first player to get tagged is now the last alive. We've come full circle. M4 in the hands of Tag. Deagle on Stavin. This is looking like it's going to be impossible, and Heroic do return the favor. It's their force spy that brings ForZe down to their knees.
It's the swing back and forth we see here on Nuke now. We know that ForZe is that team that like to be fast-paced outside, particularly FaceCrack liking to sneak into mini garage and be a real problem, but Tag plays up close to Deagle. He's fearless. He finds 3 kills. And so the force wars continue. You have to imagine a free AK goes over to Stown. Tag buys up an M4. They have plenty to reinforce here into round number 4, but ForZe, Z-Power said, I'll have an AWP. Why not? Why the hell not?
Go on then, let's have a cheeky force.
And Mac 10 and 2 Deagles.
When it worked for them 2 rounds ago.
Kind of a sacrifice. Flit actually is only going to have a Glock now because of this drop of an Op 2 Z-Power, I believe it was.
I mean, he's got $750, so surely he does pick up an upgraded pistol.
Yeah, at the very least. No.
Bruh.
Hello? Oh, okay, there it is.
There you go.
If you're going to go in, you might as well go all the way in, you know what I mean?
Especially you only got $750 left. It's not really going to make a difference.
No getting your feet wet. Just cannonball in the pool. There you have it.
Well, Heroic have put up quite the blockade. With Tag, a lot of the plaudits need to definitely come down on him in that last one.
I don't know what the game plan is here for ForZe. Obviously, just taking it slow. They had the little hole in the wall here. Or door, I guess, on a wall. I can see inanimate objects.
There is a hole in it, though, so we can actually have a quick peek through there.
Oh, yeah, actually better it's in a door than a wall.
Ouch. Z-Power tries to make a move into main. Tag keeps spraying and keeps claiming lives. This force spy off to a rough, rocky start. It doesn't seem like this is ForZe's movement towards their second round after all. Flick tries the wall bangs, right idea. Did actually tag bar up for 3. And Cadian waiting with the scout. Spots information. Tag will finish off the rest. His 3rd kill. Hasn't lost a single point of health. He's actually on for the ace. And both remaining Ts are outside. They're going to try and smoke him off. And Flip with the Deagle is going to have it pixelated towards the head of Tag, who's going to come round. Does pick up the ace at the cost of Cadian's life, but they're not going to give a damn. You can see Cadian's just pointing to him. That's what we've got. He's our special weapon.
Dude, he's got 10 kills already in 4 rounds played. 2 back-to-back individual efforts. The Deag on the force spy and then cleaning up the force of his opponent, finally forcing them to save. What a great start here for Tag. He's the one long-standing member of this team. And he comes in huge. And this is, okay. Just hang out and spawn.
Like a mini timeout, just discuss
yeah,
things.
That makes sense.
No investment in the round, may as well just take your sweet time. See if you can, again,
Let's see if he can do it. Can he hop all of them? Launders would be proud. Launders would be really proud. Oh, he's been blocked. Why have you done that? He was on a roll. Okay, now we can play Counter-Strike.
He had his glory.
Yeah.
Also, like, stalling this long could force the CTs to throw out some grenades. Have to replenish those. Cadian not having any of it, though. He's just outside. Had that angle perfectly locked down. Yeah, I mean, if you can get some incendiaries out, they do start to stack up in terms of finances.
Yeah. I think, again, what's going to really kind of be the X factor of ForZe's T-Side is if FaceCrack's able to get those wild plays through mini garage. I think that's what he did so successfully against Havu in that close one they had earlier in the tournament was kind of his impact on opening up this upper bomb site, as well as obviously kind of Flit and Z-Power who have been in proper form this whole tournament. But we'll have to wait a little bit longer before we get there. These 3 remaining Ts have to fall, and Stown will grace us with that. He wants a multi-frag in his own right. So there you have it. 4-1 start here for Heroic. It's honestly looking a bit grim, Vince, if we're honest. And, oh, he looks real frustrated trying to figure out what they can do next.
And Jerry's not going to be loving how this T-start has came into fruition, that's for sure, but they do have rifles again. And the more frustrating aspect of it is they've had chances, really, to have a reverse scoreline. It's Heroic getting rounds where they have pistols and really shouldn't be going their way. Hole in the door again. Smoked off instantly. There will be no passing just yet. S-Attack changes up his angle, but it's the same result.
That's huge too, because again, that's usually the guy that opens up A for them by going via mini is FaceCrack. And so for S-Attack to find him out that early really puts the attack to a screeching halt. Now all of a sudden Jerry has to kind of redirect back that direction with the smoke and try to be the guy that helps push outside while the rest still just focus up on the upper push. They don't really have much utility to use though to get out here. They have to rely on duels alone, but S-Attack has a great angle. As long as no one comes out squeaky and spams him, he can really put a stop to this with Town. There it is, Town, good for a couple.
Almeza may just try and force the plant to get one of these CTs out into the open. Snappy is the first player to face off against him, but Cadian from Maine rains down the pain. And Heroic will have a 5th round already. If Jerry looked miserable before, I don't want to see him now.
Yeah, I mean, this series started off with a bang when you consider what happened in those first 2 maps, but I'm now fearful that it might end with a whimper from ForZe. It's still early days, though. They still have many a buys ahead of them in this half, but it's starting to look a bit bleak.
Bleak is certainly one way of putting it. It is getting into that sort of territory right now. Flash out, Almeza. 62 HP remaining. It could be cordoned off very shortly. Snappy with 2, gonna relocate. Cadian's there to help him out. C-Power may push this smoke actually and try and catch Cadian off guard, but it has backfired. You can see the play that ForZe went for. They really didn't have much to play with in terms of firepower or grenades. But it just seems now, that nothing is working for them. They're just getting stumped wherever they go.
I mean, I think it's one of those situations where we haven't seen them really buy too much just yet, right? I mean, we kind of had like the forced buy exchange the first 3 or 4 rounds of the half. They had 1 full buy, basically. And that got shut down by, again, S-Attack, who was having a hell of a game at this point. Again, we're 6 rounds deep. Man already has 11 kills, almost 2 KPR through the bulk of this first half. But here's that buy that maybe we can see ForZe really go for something, right? This is where hopefully they can really find their rhythm. They need around here soon, it feels like, before Heroic, which is kind of dumps through them out. Not even sure what to say, Vince, to be honest. I'm kind of at a loss for words. Just kind of ForZe seems like they're out of a loss of options.
Interesting. So they had the money to actually go for more weapons here. But they've gone for 3 MAC-10s. They're just going to go super aggressive outside. Molotov has been put down. It gets instantly extinguished. And as the smoke wall from ForZe actually slightly off, it helped them in that regard. Flashes in play additionally. FaceCrack just running straight downstairs. Stavin up close. And Snappy perched up on the rafters of the catwalk, trying to spray transition into more kills. Almeza back onto Cadian, but Stavin has denied the bomb plant. The kills coming in thick and fast. And our FaceCrack, who's already picked up 1, has to go 2 better. Not gonna happen, the youngster again. 13 and 2, 122 ADR, make that 159. After the update comes in and ForZe say, okay, look, timeout. Let's just...
Yeah, this is like the guy from the Monstars in Space Jam. He just comes screaming out whenever somehow the Toon Squad is getting the dub. He's like just screaming timeout at the top of his lungs. And I feel like that's probably what's happening here on the ForZe side. It's just not gone well, has it? Obviously, last round they didn't do the full investment, as you were kind of talking about. I think the reason for it was because they wanted to make sure they could get a nice, comfortable buy in this round. So it's kind of like you're splitting, you know, the bet when you're at the blackjack table rather than just kind of lying it all on one hand. So we'll see if that is what makes the difference for them or not.
Well, that plus this timeout, you have to feel it needs to equal some rounds, and quickly. They fought back bravely to take us to a 3rd map. It would be a shame for ForZe if they just bowed out with very few rounds to show for it here on Nuke. C-Power, 1 and 7. Oh, and he's missed by quite some distance there as well. Tried to flick across. He's anticipating that flashbang, and that's why Tag again just has outside in the palm of his hand.
Tag has been really the big nuisance for ForZe on getting any type of outside control to try to help out their attacks. Luckily, Almazer does find out Katie, and so at least he gets them back on equal footing. It's finally one of the openings where ForZe, in fact, they actually have a chance. So many of these rounds, they have been done and dusted from the get-go, but now, at least they have something to work with. They have some territory under their feet to launch from, and Flit will add to that through ramp, finding Snappy, finally a man advantage in the mid-round for ForZe.
Borup changing the angle, knowing that he was going to be up against it. Very intelligently done. Switches it up again. Falls back once more. Flashbang out. Doesn't have many bullets left. He is doing such a phenomenal job. The Dane holding off against 3 players and Dinks Jerry. Looking at his teammates now. Look, I've done all the groundwork. You finish it off. And Stavin will oblige. 8-1. The tactical timeout does nothing.
Man. It's one of those rounds where they finally actually had an advantage here up until this point. You know, they had a 4-on-3, then Burup able to really sniff out these terrorists. They kind of just came at him one by one. They didn't really overwhelm him by swarming and kind of making him have to deal with a lot at once. He was able to just be very comfortable on that upper bomb site. He wasn't really required most of this half. He's been very quiet, but that round's a big multi-frag. Gets him back up on the stat line, and now it's going to be 8-1 in favor of Heroic. What can ForZe do now? They have even less to work with, and they have to do more.
Face cracked down with the MAC-10. The crowd cheering on Heroic to get this finish fast. We're up in the same position that saw him wreak havoc. Put down some fury onto ForZe. Molotov and smoke. On vending, Snappy fires out his magazine, gonna have the time to reload and back away. Taking a different angle, but Flit's up to the task. One of the first times that ForZe have got the opening pick and plenty of real estate down ramp, but now it's down to Stavin. 150 ADR, 14 kills to his name. And you better believe he is gonna hold on to this side for dear life. 2 kills. Find their way into his back pocket. Burup in the control room. Not able to stop the bomb plant, but they really don't care about that at this point. Burup's very low on 3 HP. Tags onto Almazer. 13 remains for him. It's unlucky for some, and it will indeed be unlucky for ForZe as they concede yet again.
It seems like there's no gas in the tank vents. It seems like they've used it all up on Inferno to force the map 3. You haven't even seen really any hope out of them throughout this half, man. I mean, it's really, really grim. I'm not sure how else to put it. Only 22 kills between the entirety of ForZe right now. You can add up most of Heroic's players, or 2 of them, and they would have more than that by themselves. So this is tough. I mean, I feel like even most of these rounds, Heroic have lost, what, like no more than 2 players pretty much every round? So, again, I'm not sure what ForZe can do here. I mean, again, I feel like one of the biggest things that we saw them be successful with against Havu early in the tournament was their outside presence. Like being able to smoke all their way out, get into lower halls, or whether that was face crack sneaking in the mini, or just being able to fast pace their way into ramp, just, you know, doing that chaotic fast paced style that they're well known for, but it's not happening. Z-Power, the star of this team, is 1-9. Face crack, their main outside player, he's only got 3 kills. Like, Tag and company have really put that option away for ForZe, and they're struggling to adjust.
Certainly put the hurt on them. Maybe this is the opening they're looking for. It is a trade back and forth. Tag comes out worse for wear in that encounter. But now that Z-Power's taken a grenade, it's put him even closer to his death. Cadian rings out the shot, not going to be able to land on this time of asking.
That's really tough on Z-Power. He had a couple of different opportunities there to find a pick outside. Didn't land either one of them. He did do damage to Tag, but did not convert that into a frag until it still stands at a 5-on-5 as we come into the mid-round. A lot of utility damage coming in on the T side as well as they come up upper.
Poise in the back of the site does have some support in the sense of Stavin. And now they've got Tag joining the fray, but these entries are on point for ForZe. Finally something to get excited about for the Russians, and it's just got a whole lot better. Z-Power gonna double up their rounds. They are coming back. They can still salvage this half dust, but it's gonna have to be from here on out. Nothing but wins.
Yeah, it's finally around here for ForZe. Just really haven't been able to do that ever since the kind of beginning of the half when they won that 4 spot in round number 2. But that was a good series of trading on the upper bomb side there. They finally are able to overpower Heroic on their defense on that site, but can they find any type of consistency is the question you have to ask now. Is that just a flash in the pan, or are we in some type of situation where ForZe can actually grind their way back into this game?
The comeback is looking like a little bit of a simmer at the moment, but they're going to need to add some fuel to that fire. Snappy on ramp playing alone. C-Power, that's more like it. You did say one of the star players, you're really quiet. If he can start to find some shots, this may not be done just yet.
Yeah, early 5 on 4. I feel like this has been a rarity for ForZe throughout this game. We'll see if they can build off the back of it here. Tag is still towards outside. He did pick up Cadian's AWP, so he still has that sniper in play for Heroic to try to put a stop to any of this forward outside progression. But Z-Power actually not going all the way down the back halls. He wants to float around, see if he can catch a kill on anyone floating outside on the rafters, but it's not going to come into fruition. But Stown has found a kill on the face crack. He has control of these vents.
He's been forced down, though, and it is going to be an A-centric hit from ForZe. So they're keeping the CTs at bay. Solid Molotov usage. Its main is a bit of a concern now because eventually that smoke will clear. So they're going to get the bomb. They have annulled the CT's presence on the A site, but now they fight a man behind. Stavin clinging to life by a thread on 5 HP. The Danes have money to spare. Jerry has some bullets to spare. He's gonna gift Snappy one. How generous. Stavin now alongside Essetag gonna be making a move in. Here comes Jerry through the smoke. He's gonna strike for one. Meanwhile, Essetag gets him in the back, but Almaze is there to seal the deal. ForZe making strides forward.
Couple in a row now for ForZe. The Russians are back on the board, and the money is actually a little bit low here for Heroic. They do have that 1 M4 on Snappy that's already been purchased, but the rest are going to have to kind of really think about it. He doesn't have enough money for an AWP, enough money for Stown to basically get a full buy. It's Essetag that's going to be a bit limited, maybe just an SMG and armor, and then even Borup has to be careful with only $4,100. And then obviously if they were to lose this, they'd be on a save, and that's where ForZe can really start to close the gap on the scoreboard. So while it did look very, very rough on ForZe to kick off the map, it does seem like maybe, just maybe, they start piecing together the comeback, but it still is a ways off.
Yeah, that's the key point, really. They started, but can they finish? Heroic still will feel confident with the score. They do know, though, that on the horizon, economic downturn, economic turmoil does await them if they are not successful here. Oh, that wall bang is perfection. Cadian elsewhere, though, does take down C-Power.
That's again outside being thwarted by Heroic. It's been a constant factor throughout this game, and it rears its ugly head again for ForZe. At least they did get that opener, though, on the upper bomb side. Borup just not even having a chance there, and you're getting spammed like that. It's one of those kind of random things that do happen to go your way. Can they figure something out, though, off the back of it again? With this 4-on-4, still plenty of time left. Stown and Essetag here defending upper.
Just when Borup thought he was safe. He thought the wall was his ally, but it did betray him. Solid work at stalling the squeaky push, though, with consistent grenades. They are running out of them, the Danish team. Molotov's about to be tossed in. One to the backside of the vent. Needs his teammates to dig him out. Well, Stavin, he hasn't shown his hand just yet. Now he's going to come out with a flashbang, but Almaza still pierces his head. Essetag tries to transition the spray across to Jerry, but it's not in time. Cadian still perched up on Heaven, looking to rain down some righteous fury to the oncoming ForZe. Jerry tagged, but not fragged, and that's going to keep ForZe in this round for the time being. The face crack meets an informed Snappy, trading across to the AK, waiting for Cadian to join his forces in A main. Flash out, here comes Snappy, down he falls. Cadian about to get smoked out of position again. And he's gonna get sprayed up through the smoke. ForZe 3 on the bounce. And Heroic have been broken.
Yeah, you're starting to see the coordination from ForZe really come a lot better for them on these upper takes. They're starting to trade a lot better. Obviously, that was a tough spot for Stown as he got mollied in the corner. They tried to bail him out the smoke grenade in a flash, but the flash was ineffective. So when he was trying to cross out of there, he still got taken down with no frags to his name. So ForZe just maybe looking to make this one competitive now. Heroic are on to basically a save this round.
That is the state of play. It is a straight-up save. Desert Eagles were their allies, but no longer the case. They have been pried out of the hands of Heroic with lead. Cadian, last player to stand up against the forces of the T's, may catch a free kill, but it has backfired. The Desert Eagle can be cruel at times. It gives and it takes away.
So there you have it, round number 5 here for ForZe, and it looks like it might be flawless at that, unless Cadian's able to find an exit of some sort. And obviously, this is one of those rounds where Heroic couldn't really do much, didn't have much that they could buy. And so again, Vince, I mean, this team was up at 9-1 at one point, looking to dominate the whole half, and now we've seen ForZe be able to win, what, 5 out of the last 6?
Yep.
And now they have a chance to push this to 9-6 before we transition sides. And honestly, 6 rounds on your T side, considering how this started, wouldn't really be that bad for ForZe. So, man, all of a sudden, like, you know, maybe you were kind of mentally out of it early on when it looked like Heroic were just going to steamroll their way into a grand finals position. But now, all of a sudden, ForZe have found that fire.
Now we saw the cam from Jerry, who looked head in hands, looked like it was already over. They've had a second wind. They're still alive with this yet. Very little utility. So much time remaining. Tank, the only player to fall down to the lower site. Cadian occupying where he typically would be playing outside on this garage. We saw a lot of kills through the smoke earlier on.
Yeah. Him and Tag have really owned this position the bulk of the way, and really what you've seen ForZe do is just kind of go towards these upper attacks instead, through door, through hut, things of that nature, just kind of bypass the outside play. I think the economy doesn't really have the utility to stop it either, right? I mean, they don't really have the incendiaries and smokes, things of that nature you would normally use, try to slow down pushes through hut and door. Let's give them a little bit more free reign on their way out. Mollying the hut, just make sure no one's up top. Make sure they don't have to worry about that angle. And we might be seeing them once again look towards upper as they do smoke off Mini as well through the squeaky doorway. But also some counter utility here, slowing Jerry down. And actually, ForZe will look to reroute towards outside of the smoke wall. I don't think it's a full wall, though. I think there's a gap. Okay, never mind. This smoke finally does come in.
Yeah, FaceCrack was waiting for it to expand. Tag downstairs, Molotov. This is going to be actually pretty rough for ForZe. With such low time, they've got to push this, and FaceCrack takes a ton of damage. Grenade could finish him off now. He's already pieced out of there, but Flit and Power take the brunt of the explosives. Snappy and Cadian ripping through the smoke. It looks like that win streak is going to come to an abrupt end on the side of ForZe, and it's Tag who will claim his 18th kill alongside Stabbin's 19th. Let's see how this third map comes down. First, though, let's head to a very short break. The final half of our first semi-finals will feature ForZe in a bit of a rough shape. 5-10 behind on the CT side, plenty of hurdles to navigate over, the first of which is the pistol. One smoke and a kit up against a fully glocked and armored up opponent. The Dane's going to be looking to push down the ramp side where Jerry is waiting eagerly. He's poised, ready to strike with that USP, decides to back away, knows that he's outnumbered, outgunned, and will fall back to control room. Heroic not playing this one slowly. They're going to get up in the face of ForZe, but so far they've just tipped over and face planted. Burrup, the only Dane to answer back, but he's going to get two. Looking for three, gets it done. Jerry's USP is going to be used to try and counteract the push. A real rough incursion with Stavin in a 1-on-2 now. Can he pick up from where Burrup left off? Woo. He's being tagged in the backside. He has control of the bomb. And he has A in his eyes. He's going to come up for the quick plant, knows that the CT is going to be here way slower. And now he can decide to fall back, but they're actually going to bump head to head. It's going to be Lobby. He can hear the footsteps. He knows Face Crack is just around this location. Any moment now, the peak is going to come in. Whose reactions are better? Whose process better? It's going to be the Upster Stavin! And a second pistol goes to the Danes. That is a huge body blow for ForZe's comeback.
That is one more nail in the coffin that is ForZe's tournament life right now. That is a very critical pistol that they really needed. And it started out just fine. They defended that initial lower push greatly, but Burrup did so well here at Decon. 3 big kills, and then Sound coming up with the 1v1 clutch in the end. 21 kills for the youngster. Again, one of those leading MVP candidates, still performing time in and time out throughout this event. The force buy here from ForZe, that doesn't work though, Vince. Heroic will go to 12, they have to full save, Heroic gets 13, and now all of a sudden you have basically 1 buy left, so they need this force to pan out.
Demolition has been charged. Is there someone to pull the trigger? It's not going to be Cadian. They're walking into the max 7, a team kill as well. Snappy puts a bullet between the eyes of Burrup. And Flit also gets a kill before backing away. This round is just slipping away. ForZe looking good to just straight up.
Yeah, that Max 7 was such a big disruption here on that back Halls take. They did trade it out, but then a team kill breaks in, and that is the real problem for Heroic now. It puts them into a 2v4 rather than a 3v4, where they would have had superior firepower and only down 1 man. Now it's way worse. Almazir here up on top of Heaven, does spot out down, dots him between the eyes, and now it's all on Essa Tag. He's good for 1, but can he 1v3 with such low HP? Probably not, but we'll see.
Yeah, 10 health to his name. He's also running out of bullets. That grenade is going to be actually not landing on Jerry. It looked like it would land plumb on his head. Did know exactly what the situation is, though. From Jerry's perspective, flicks across. 9 bullets left in the magazine. Jerry still lurking in lobby. Meanwhile, C-Power in the vents. Next attack's going to take this the fight, and you just started to believe in him there at the end. Not to be.
Big round victory there for ForZe. It really keeps them in the game. Again, if they would have lost that ForZe, they might have to save. Heroic could jump up to an even bigger lead and really run out of opportunities to complete your route back into this map number 3. But now we see Heroic into force buying. It's kind of deja vu from the first half. Vince, Heroic was the one that won that tango, but can they do this one?
Heroic gonna try and ambush ForZe with their pistols. See if they can whack them out of their hidey holes. 2 smokes and a flashbang, all they have to use on their approach. Flit's Molotov gonna be quite the concern, especially to the health bars. Flit's gone in for 3. Finally though, Cadian is able to silence him. It's a great cost, but an M4 trades hands, and he does have Kevlar. So maybe there's still a few twists in this round.
Oh, Jerry, though, not messing around. He was actually going to push that smoke to sides, not. And now they actually could maybe plant this bomb. There's so many CTs they could push out and really stop it. You can see the bait taking place there. Attack does get it.
Cadian spray, he knows where the next player is, but Face Crack, he is going to live to tell a tale. Actually lost no health. It looked like he may have taken a little bit of damage there, but ForZe continue their winning ways. Going to make a real game out of this yet.
And they've won the early force buy war. And so this is going to cause Heroic to take a save here, a chance for ForZe to find 8, and then all of a sudden we have a contest on our hands again. That 9-1 lead that Heroic had has quickly faded away, and now ForZe are here to fight.
Wally's tossed in to get some power over the side.
Hello.
Tag just drops down. Burst Glock to the side of the head. Temple perforated. Cadian with a Glock. He wishes he had upgraded to a P250. But it is going to be just the one death. It was looking pretty rough, though, for a few moments.
Yeah, there was like this brief moment where he picked up the MP9, he got that one, and you're like, man, if he can get this entry on the guy top hut, all of a sudden this could get dangerous. But luckily for ForZe, that was the only casualty they suffered in that round, so a pretty clean pickup all in all. But Heroic are back onto the full buy. There's no AWPs in play, but definitely a couple of SIGs in the right hands can be just as good.
Surprisingly, those grenades that were stacked outside barely did any damage. Nice attack, though. First kill on the board, breaking the deadlock. C-Power, only 4 kills. With the AWP, is going to be hoping that he can turn his fortunes around. There's going to be 3 players potentially peeking him. Is there going to be a flash beforehand? Is Barb going to be playing the bait? And looking for the SG kill behind him. See them moving backwards and forwards. Feeling tense. Nades coming in. The timing may just work against C-Power. And indeed it will. They're starting to push outside. He gets caught! He assumed with those Molotovs coming through onto A, it was going to be an A hit.
That's a big catch for Heroic. Now they have a 5 versus 3. They're bringing this bomb into the lower bomb site. No one's really there yet. Cadian's cutting off any type of rotations through Mini into the outside stairwell. This gives Heroic a lot of great positioning because of it. Bomb does indeed go down again. Cadian's still here cutting things off. He's able to work what's down to do the deed. And so now it's all on Flit. And he's obviously going to be saving this gun. So there you have it, right as ForZe were looking to inch down the hallway towards that open wide door. Heroic slammed it in their face and go up to 12. And no gun will be saved.
They broke the door off the backs of ForZe. It was slammed shut so hard. Heroic with their second round of the half after winning the pistol. And yeah, it's very unfortunate for C-Power because he was watching red container for so long. The second he moves, 3 players push outside. You have to feel for him. C-Power now forced into a glass cannon AWP, exploding the squeaky door. Stavit back into fine form, 24 and 10. C-Power, identical position to the last round. Gonna be giving up a bit of outside control. The smoke's down there, a wall of them. And no one's to sledgehammer it, although Alzer is trying his best. No bullets connect. A slew of terrorists downstairs. Burrup taking the point of the spear. Flit, UMP, not tailor-made for this kind of a range, but he does have face crack, helping him out. 2 entries in quick succession. Opening up B, it is ripe for the taking. Z-Power's taking quite a bit of damage elsewhere on the map with his AWP, but Stavit is going to be tested and tried by Jerry's MP9. He's trying to flirt with him, but it actually will be nailing the headshot. That's an SG that's now going to trade hands. The firepower is certainly stacking up now, but I don't think ForZe realistically want to go for this. Mazer just going to be chilling outside, waiting to hear some footsteps, maybe just sit in. Even if he sees the player, does he realistically go for this shot, knowing there could be more terrorists following up?
Yeah, he's kind of playing with fire here. Vince just kind of holding out in this corner. Burrup is right up there with low HP. Are they going to cross paths? Saving these guns would be massive. They really need to carry them over. And indeed, he is going to be able to get the bait and switch there thanks to face crack, and Burrup will go down. Still, though, ForZe's comeback efforts are starting to really be put to a halt. Heroic now on this T side. They've won the last couple in a row, plus the pistol victory, so this has put them in really good control of Nuke now. ForZe, of course, able to put together a full buy on this round. But you feel if you lose this, Heroic go up to 14, and you're kind of forced buying the rest of the game because you don't want to give Heroic map point for free. So, I mean, honestly, it's so hard to see them win this map without winning this round because of the economic situation they're in.
That certainly feels to be the case, hence the timeout called.
That's a pretty good drawing of the Heroic logo. Not bad.
But here we go. Could be the curtain coming down on ForZe's tournament. And Heroic one step closer to the trophy. Molotov in to Hut. One's been tossed in retaliation to A main. Some damage inflicted to face crack. He's had to give up Hut control. Heroic aren't pushing behind this just yet, but it is going to force some utility out from ForZe to relocate. And in this battle, Heroic certainly are still in the lead. They have way more grenades at their disposal. Molotov tossed into Secret. Z-Power's bypassed it. He's going to get the peek. They're not going to expect this one. And that's the bomb down. Able to smoke straight afterwards. We can try and escape. A big kill.
Oh!
Threading the smoke.
He also burnt another one of their Molotovs there with that smoke. They tried to throw it past it and extinguished instead. So a lot of utility being spent by Heroic here for very little gained. Lost 2 players because of that play from Z-Power. That's a great little adjustment from ForZe, just throwing something a little bit different at Heroic. But look at Esatag. He's been able to sneak his way into a really crafty position. They have no idea. Almazer goes down. Jerry below him might come up the ladder. It'll all come down to timing. And indeed, Esatag was too focused on Squeaky, but Stown, he's here to fight. He's fouled 2. He's got it back even.
Anybody's round up for grabs. 30 seconds to the side. The terrorist making a move downstairs, but there is a player in the vent. Quick rotation either way, and it's Z-Power. If he misses the AWP shot, though, that could afford them the luxury of getting across to the site. To make matters worse, though, he doesn't get a chance to miss. Cadian's a step ahead of him. Bomb's going to get planted now. Flit scratching his head, wondering how the hell this has happened.
Yeah, they've come a long way away from that Esatag, excuse me, Z-Power situation, having those 2 kills with the AWP, and now they have to try to do a 1 versus 2.
Split out with a FAMAS. The first AWP shot's missed, but Stavard will hit dead on with the SG. You called it almost a match point there, Dust, and they've lost it.
Yeah, and now the money's just not there. I mean, what do? Do you actually full save and play for overtime, or do you just force buy the rest of the game? I mean, that's kind of the decision that now you're forced to make. Just really hurts to see that ForZe had such a good start to this. I mean, you had the double op of Z-Power outside. You had Jerry catching Esatag and Heaven limiting his impact to just 1 frag, where it could have been way more dangerous than that, considering how Esatag was able to sneak up and grab that kill upper, but it was Stound who really broke it back open.
Tactical timeout this time on Heroic. Gonna let ForZe stew on this, think about it, knowing they are so very close to being eliminated. Danes, in the meanwhile, are rolling in cash. Another injection will be coming up for Snappy, $7,000. A bit slow on the buy here, still at spawn. There we go. SG has been picked up. Cadian, the meanwhile, aggressively through on Squeaky Door. No one is there for ForZe. They're playing a bit more passively with the pistols.
Yeah, just holding here top hut. Jerry just trying to hold an angle on outside cross from inside mini. Face crack now up top of the door. Jerry and Almazer are also all in this area, so just really hedging on the 2 radio and 3 upper approach. Some bullets coming through the door. Cadian was maybe tempted to take a shot there, but decides, nah, I'll just wait. Sort of a stalemate to start out the early round. No real forward progress in any direction for either side. Just all holding and biding their time for that one moment, which Heroic is going to dictate the pace of. Given the superior firepower and utility, it's all going to come down to their decision-making. When and where do they want this to go? Smoke wall is going towards outside, but they're not going to be using it for anything. It's just a feint. It's causing Jerry to be focused on outside. There is 1 player there, it's Burrup, but you feel like the bulk of this attack looking to be running through that Squeaky Door.
Oh, Jerry. Very unfortunate to get tagged down that heavily. Doesn't really get anything back in his favor. 5-7, close. 5 crack. He's just going to go straight in with 5-7. Face crack's destroyed him. It could still go the way of Heroic, though, and it really should. And Esatag is going to make sure that becomes a reality. Just under 30 seconds left. Z-Power misses his opportunity with the Deagle. It's been a bit anticlimactic from ForZe here on Nuke. And now 7 match points on Heroic.
And Heroic can taste it. They're so close to the finish line. All that's between them and the grand finals is 1 step to cross that tape. ForZe are able to actually get a pretty decent buy into this round, all things considered, including a WP on Z-Power, and everyone on M4 is just lacking a bit of utility, and Z-Power obviously is lacking that armor. He's had a very quiet game, 6 and 17. He's got to make the most of this sniper if there's any hope of ForZe forcing overtime here. Again, it would be a tournament first to see extra rounds, but Heroic seem well on their way to preventing that from being a reality. Smoke wall again outside. Burrup again using it to just kind of maneuver around towards Mini, but no duels have broken out just yet. Very similar setup to the previous round from Heroic Vince, but there is a bit of a boost going on in Squeaky Halls, which could be interesting.
I'll slow down again. I say the boost is up. The smoke impairing the vision of Esitag will clear momentarily. Stavn watching, anticipating a potential ramp push in case ForZe get desperate. Desperate times call for desperate measures. And this is pretty much as desperate as it gets.
Indeed it is. It's all going to come down again to this upper explosion. You have to feel like there's no utility really to stop it, Vince. There's no incendiaries. There's only one smoke for Jerry. And so Heroic could just brute force their way in with sheer firepower and put this one to rest.
What could be the last aggressive play in this best of three. Heroic with a swarm of grenades preceding the push. They're looking to pillage, they're looking to plunder, and they're taking no prisoners on their advance. Flip round the back is going to get the first drop player. Snappy is low, M4 comes in, and Burrup stands his ground for two! The Danes move forward to the grand final!
A great tournament for ForZe. They really showed us some life throughout these last couple of days, but it's not enough. And Cadian, you can see how pumped he is. He's going off the crowd. Is he going surfing? No, but he is getting hoisted. And he is so excited, man. Again, this is a guy who's been really looking for a permanent home in the CS scene for some time. And I know that he's excited to be in those grand finals. Their job's not done yet, Vince, but they are one step closer to that trophy, one step closer to continuing that upward trajectory of what we've seen throughout their time together since Cadian joined at EPL and qualifying for Star Ladder and all the like. It was a nice series, man. I mean, I guess Nuke was a little bit worse than the first two maps. It wasn't as close, as much of a great contest, but there were some moments from ForZe.
Oh, they definitely were. I think overall, it's best of three. We couldn't really ask for more.
Oh, yeah. On average, I think that the best of three was fantastic. It's a great way to kick off finals day here in Rotterdam. So Heroic move on. We do have one more semifinal coming up in a little bit. It's obviously Avangard taking on Crazy to see who will meet Heroic for that race for the title. And yeah, we'll be covering that one as well, I do believe, unless something like randomly happens that would cause that not to be the case, but I doubt it. But we also know one thing is guaranteed, and that is we have a great analyst panel to break down the series now that we've completed this first semi. Take it away, Frankie.
So much, boys. Thank you so much. You could say the first semi-final is done and dusted. No, you love that one, dust. Now, what a turnout for the books, because myself and Potter, we've redeemed ourselves. We had the victory protected actually correctly, unlike last night. So Blair, how are you feeling right now?
I mean, you know, sometimes you get it right, sometimes you get it wrong. That's the way the cookie crumbles, right? But honestly, I was really, really impressed with the way both the teams played. And Heroic, the Nuke performance is really, really good. But that being said, even from ForZe, even though they lost Nuke, it's like they gave it a fight, right? They figured out that outer hit wasn't really working out for them. They abused the upper bomb side. They managed to make it a little bit competitive. But Heroic, I mean, Stavn, we keep singing his praises, but consistently top fragging every single map, every single game. This kid is a star.
He really is a star, but man, Heroic, I've got to mention their teamwork. Just every single member of Heroic are relying on each other, and it's really showing their bait and switches across all three maps. Specifically, any single time a player on Heroic got contact, he was patient, the discipline showing, allowing his teammates to follow up and refrag and trade. And these types of teamwork, it takes a lot of time to build that type of synergy. But we have to remember, Cadian and Snappy have just slotted in, and this performance from Heroic is looking spectacular.
It almost feels like the older Daj never going alone, particularly on overpass. It seemed like even on that fantastic eco that they won, even though they won the round, they just all bullied Z-Power to get that all off him. They were always feeling so confident, always knowing exactly where to go. But what happened on Inferno, Blair?
Inferno was interesting. It's like, if you look at ForZe, the way they were approaching it, the T side especially, looked a little easier for them, primarily because there was a lot of map control being given by Heroic tools. And there's a couple of rounds we're going to be showcasing later on, maybe using Stats Helix, also a few clips for line up for you guys. But it's almost like they played it a little too passively, gave too much room for ForZe to work with. And a few of the clutches were going their way, can't really blame them. And Heroic relying a lot on individual plays. Once again, we had players having huge moments here and there, which is why it got a little closer. But Inferno, it felt like overall ForZe were an overall better team. They were able to re-aggress consistently on the CD side. And for Heroic, whenever they wanted to showcase a little bit of aggression, it wasn't well thought out, it wasn't well coordinated, and which is why it kind of fell apart there.
Definitely, you could see that Heroic were a lot more comfortable taking things slow, approaching the site slow, and sometimes it definitely bit them in the butt because they ran out of time. There was so many instances where they weren't able to plant that bomb, and sometimes these things can happen, you know, when you're trying to make sure you're very meticulous about every corner, every angle, every nade that you throw. It slows it down a little bit, and it certainly punished them, but they definitely bounced back from that.
I just want to point out, I mean, Potter, you did pick Staven and Flit as the two players to watch out for, and they did definitely deliver, but Staven going like above and beyond everyone else. S-Stack had a great map on Nuke. We had Cadian actually show up in the first two maps. He was top fragging for his team on Inferno and Overpass, but Staven, man, what a beast.
He is a beast, and if you watch Staven's play, it's his game sense. He's got game IQ 200 plus 100% of the way. Every time he's taking an angle, when he's lurking, it's his timings. Every single time he's watching an enemy, most of the time, they don't even have a chance to shoot back, and his aim and precision definitely helps him too.
He's so reminiscent of Rops when everyone discovered Rops, right? It's not about just crazy aim, which this guy has in spades. It's also the fact that when he's looking and taking these fights, he's always taking a fight which favors him. Never take a fair fight, and that is like the ethos a good Counter-Strike player should have, and that's what he does. He doesn't go in for crazy deals being like a simple, for example. He's like, I'm gonna make sure I win this particular duel every single time, and he does it time and time again. Really experienced stuff coming out from a very, well, young player.
Well, I know, Blair, you're going to be a bit disappointed because we're not talking to Jerry right now, but the consolation prize is a good one because we're going to chat to Cadian, who's standing by. A big smile on your face, Cadian. You saying in a video before that match that you were an underdog. Heroic, maybe not expected to win that one, and yet you came through. How'd you do it?
This crowd.
This crowd, they're the reason you won today.
Yeah, probably. I mean, we could hear them all the time. You were asking something about being an underdog and how we handled it, yeah?
Yes.
Well, honestly, when you're an underdog, you don't have much to lose, but I said it before in the interview as well, our main goal was to reach the final. That goal has been accomplished now. I think for the majority of this best of three, we played way better than we did yesterday against Hard Legion. And I could hear it in my ears, you guys talking about Staven, right? Borup as well. These young guys, holy shit, they are before me.
Holy shit, it did. I want to point out, like, on Inferno, it felt like you were giving a little bit too much of respect to them on your CT side. Was that like a conscious decision? Do you feel like you're going to play it a little bit more aggressively?
I think they might have played it a little different from what we were expecting. We were expecting them to be like very banana heavy and never pressure apps in second mid that much. So I think we kind of had a misread into them. And then honestly, some of the rounds came down to a bit of like miscommunication with what grenades to use on banana, and we got caught in between stuff. So honestly, on the CT Inferno, that part just wasn't good enough. We'll have to look at that before the final, for sure.
Cadian, I found it interesting that you guys considered yourselves underdogs coming into this series, but at a certain point, you got to realize you guys are on your way up. You're no longer underdogs, or are you going to keep approaching these series and matches as with nothing to lose? And do you think that it's benefiting you guys?
I mean, you know the drill, Potter, you know. Gotta just say you're the underdog, just have less pressure, easy mindset. No, but honestly, like ForZe as well, ranked 15 on the HL2 rankings. We played against Avangard, who's ranked 6 as well. So it is teams that on the rankings are higher than us. We are so new. We cannot forget also the addition of Borup and Snappy and our coach Lomme. They've been here for 1 month, so the majority of this roster is super new, but we're meshing well together. And I mean, now we're just 1 game away from the trophy, underdog or not.
And speaking of the trophy, you have Avangard coming up next, or it could be Crazy. Now, if you're obviously, I'm assuming you'd be looking to face off against Crazy rather than Avangard, right? Or don't you care at all?
I'm down for a revenge against Avangard, honestly. Bring it.
Yes.
Nice.
Okay, one more question from me. I noticed you guys are really emphasizing that bait and switch, and you guys do it so well. Is this something you guys have worked on consciously throughout, or is it just natural for you?
We do it a lot. We can get even better at doing it, honestly. But yeah, we talked a lot about it, especially during practice, that when you had a contact on an opponent, they will always be focusing on you and your position. Then your teammate can swing out. So not over peaking and having all these small bait and switch setups, it's really benefiting us right now. I think also we have a good read on the opponents when we're CT, often at least, where they're moving around the map. So that's why we can expect to make these small bait and switch setups. And one small story also for you guys, just about Staven, because I hear you guys are saying that his game sense is insane, right? Normally when you have a young player coming up, you kind of feel like it's mostly aim, they're inexperienced and stuff. I watched Danish LAN. I was playing Power LAN 2016. This is like, 4 years ago soon, and he's 17 now, right? So he's been 13 or 14 years old, and he was guiding around his teammates on the server. So it kind of says something about what kind of personality this guy is.
Wow.
You're saying he's bossy.
He's just very smart, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, he has a good feel of the game, and he's energized, he has good aim, and not to forget the others in the team as well. If you look at the ES3 tag, he was the main guy why we kept that good momentum on Nuke. He had aces, he had 4Ks out there in the yard area. I think right now it's also a team effort, but obviously the stars are shining, and we like that.
Well, you're shining too, Cajun. Thank you so much for talking to us. Fingers crossed to you in that final later today. Thank you.
I like how excited he is to talk about his team, right? You can feel like he's been in the wilderness for a bit, and now he's back here, a new family, so to speak. And you can just make out the enthusiasm he has with his youngsters and his team. He's talking about his stories. And if you're 13 and you're playing LAN, that's some child prodigy level shit right there. I'm sorry, that's insane.
I really like the fact that Cajun is one of those players who he's always excited to be here. He's 24 years old. He's been doing this for a long time now, even though, I mean, 24 it's no age, right? It's so young. But the enthusiasm and passion he has, you see him interacting with those fans there, and you see that carry through to the server. Like at the end of the highlights package, there was a fantastic 80s movie style slow high five between him and Snappy. And Snappy is so serious and focused in game, and I think the two of them probably balance each other out really, really nicely. But right now, I know you want to jump in, Blair, but I want to head over to Potter because I know you've got something for us on the drawing board.
Yes, so this is going to perfectly highlight exactly the bait and switch that we've been talking about, and this is going all the way back to Overpass. And I want you to pay attention to S3 tag and Snappy here, setting up towards this short A, and their line of contact is going to be here, but the point of contact, oh, I just restarted it, my bad. So we're going to go back here, and it's S3 tag that's going to be drawing out all the attention, but the MVP in this round is going to be Cadian. His quick reactions, understanding that S3 tag is drawing all that attention out, he re-aggresses using an intelligent aggression play, and he gets rewarded. If we can go his point of view here, it's just the quick reactions coming out of Cadian, and I know we've been speaking about Cadian leading up into this match, saying he needs to step up, and he absolutely did, and this is exactly why this team picked him up. It's just these quick, beautiful reactions coming out of Cadian.
Absolutely. And Blair, I know you've got something for us as well.
Yeah, I want to touch upon Inferno, I do believe it is, in which I don't think we have it in Stats Helix right now, but it's basically how they were giving too much room for ForZe to work with. And at many a time, when you keep 3 players towards A bomb site and you have 2 at B, you have no map control whatsoever. You can see over here, ForZe had 3 players towards apartments. They had a tiny little fake over towards the B bomb site. They get the kill here on the guy in pit. This is the mistake they make. The moment they find a first player, they don't realize S-Attack's hiding inside of that site, and he gets 2 kills, picks up the M4, and Heroic are able to kind of steal the round away from ForZe. But these rounds are not sustainable. You know, having hero plays, you might get a couple rounds here and there, but you need to have map control in the CD side on Inferno, or you need to have at least some information as to what the T's are working with. And I think that's what ForZe are able to abuse time and time again, and the reason why we saw map number 3.
Well, we know that Heroic is in the final, but who is going to be joining them? Is it going to be Crazy, or is it going to be our top dogs, Avantgarde? You'll find out after the break.